Hello, welcome to the Strategic Growth Plan for Younger Consumers and International Expansion for Bread Talk. After studying Bread Talk, we recognize that Bread Talk primarily appeals to consumers that are 30 plus and recently has been facing losses in China. We know that Bread Talk has a significant opportunity to leverage the millennial and the Gen Z population to increase revenue and store foot traffic. So we know I could identify some key opportunities that Bread Talk can take advantage of to increase traffic. The first opportunity is that 92% of millennials will eat snacks as meals at least weekly. This is important because it's the type of food that we serve at Bread Talk. We know that we can grow our premium bakery segment. We know that this group of folks that are Gen Z and millennial are digitally native. They grew up with a phone in their hand and they're comfortable using it. We also know that we have underserved Asian bakery markets that we could easily break into. How would we do that? Well, we have to start by leveraging our core competencies. One is innovation and creative design. We're known for store design, clean, organized storefronts, and innovation in products. We know that we have a scalable franchise model. We have 863 outlets currently and have a strong core competency that we can expand into multiple different locations. We also have strong brand recognition and equity across Asia. People have heard of Bread Talk, they know it, and they trust it. And we know we have operational excellence via automation. We've used automation to engineer our processes to be as efficient as possible, and we can bring that forward as we expand through this strategy. So now that we understand the young consumer and we understand our core competencies, how can we target young consumers and break into this segment of the market? If we want to break into this segment and bring them into our stores, we really have to do a deep dive and understand them. First things first, we already know that 92% of them, well, they eat snacks as meals weekly. That's important. It's also incredibly important to know that approximately 7 hours a day they spend online. So we've got to meet them where they are on that digital platform. And 50% of them eat snacks as meals 4 times or more weekly. So not only could we have this segment in the store once a week, it could be up to 4 times. That's significant for revenue growth. We also know their key behavioral characteristics. We know that they view food as an adventure. They want unique, ethnic, or different offerings, collaborations, Instagram, etc. We know that they're social eaters. They prefer to eat together, and they are uncomfortable eating alone. Again, we know they're digitally native. With 7 hours of time online every day, they know how to use a device. They know how to research online. They know how to read reviews, and they share products on social media, which would give us some free advertising. They're also visual consumers. Think Instagram, great aesthetics, organization, and cleanliness. Those will be vital through our strategy.
The first strategy focuses on transforming Bread Talk stores from traditional retail bakeries into experimental destinations. Younger consumers, especially millennials and Gen Z, don't just buy food, they buy experiences. They want spaces that are interactive, visually appealing, and social media friendly. To meet this expectation, Bread Talk can evolve selected outlets into bakery labs, featuring open kitchens where customers can watch artisan bakery in real time. This transparency builds trust and turns food preparation into entertainment. Expanding on the success of the icing room, DIY decoration stations would allow customers to customize their products, creating a sense of ownership and engagement. These spaces would also incorporate seasonal pop-ups and heritage-inspired design elements to connect Bread Talk's history with a modern aesthetic. Now, when thinking of implementation and the expected impact, this strategy would roll out into phases to manage risk and cost. In the first 6 months, Bread Talk could pilot 2 to 3 flagship experience stores in high-traffic Singapore malls. These locations would serve as testing grounds for customer response and operational feasibility. In the following phase, partnerships with local artists would introduce rotating installations, keeping stores fresh and encouraging repeat visits. By year 2, the concept could expand to flagship locations in China and include baking workshops, further strengthening community engagement. Based on comparable premium bakeries, this approach is expected to increase under 30-foot traffic by approximately 25 to 30%. The secondary strategy centers on product innovation designed specifically for Gen Z preferences. First, Bread Talk can introduce a health-conscious product line featuring whole grains, plant-based pastries, reduced sugar options, and protein-enriched snacks. Transparency through clear ingredient labeling is especially important to younger consumers who prioritize wellness. Second, limited edition product drops would create excitement and urgency. Monthly chef collaborations and seasonal flavors released in short cycles encourage repeat visits and leverage the fear of missing out effect. Finally, Bread Talk can reimagine nostalgic local favorites by giving them a modern twist. This approach preserves emotional connections for older customers while making heritage products relevant and appealing to younger audiences. When we're talking about amplified digital and social presence, currently, Bread Talk's digital presence is relatively basic and focused on promotions rather than engagement. This represents a major opportunity. Moving forward, Bread Talk should adopt a multi-platform strategy across TikTok, Instagram Reels, and other short-form content channels where Gen Z spends the most time. Interactive campaigns like #BreadTalkCreations, TikTok Challenge would encourage user-generated content and organic brand exposure. Partnering with micro-influencers rather than a few large creators allows Bread Talk to reach niche audiences with higher engagement and authenticity. Additionally, gamifying the rewards app with challenges, badges, and augmented reality features would blend digital and in-store experiences, strengthening brand loyalty. Brand as Asian heritage meets modern cool. The final strategy ties everything together through a clear brand repositioning. Currently, Bread Talk is perceived as a safe traditional mid-tier bakery that appeals more strongly to older demographics. To remain competitive, the brand must evolve without losing its heritage. The proposed positioning, Asian heritage meets modern cool, balances authenticity with innovation. It reframes Bread Talk as a culture trend creator rather than just a bakery. Messaging such as "Where's Grandma's recipe" meets tomorrow's flavors reinforces this dual identity and resonates emotionally across generations. This shift allows Bread Talk to justify premium pricing while remaining culturally grounded and relevant to younger consumers. By transforming its retail experience, product offerings, digital presence, and brand identity, Bread Talk can successfully engage in a new generation of consumers. With that foundation in place, the next critical question becomes where the company should expand internationally to maximize growth, which leads into our market expansion analysis.
So first we established key selection criteria for our market evaluation framework. These criteria were market size, cultural fit, competition, operations, regulatory, and digital. Market size looked at GDP growth, urban population, middle class expansion, and bakery compounded annual growth rate. Cultural fit was bread consumption, snacking culture, Asian diaspora, and fusion openness. Competition looked at local intensity, international presence, market maturity, and differentiation. Operations looked at franchise viability, supply chain, real estate cost, and labor. Regulatory looked into food standards, trade policies, business formation, and IP protection. And digital utilized social media, e-commerce, digital payments, and influencer economy. Our first priority market was Vietnam. Our rationale for this is market dynamics. There's a 98 million person population, with 70% of that 98 million being under 35 years old. There's also 7% annual GDP growth, as well as a rising middle class with disposable income. Cultural fit, there's a strong bread culture. They're also familiar with Asian Western fusion. There's also growing cafe culture among youth. Competitive advantage, there's limited premium bakery presence. Bread Talk's Asian identity also is able to resonate. And there's also a first mover advantage in that premium market. Our entry strategy is 2 phases, with year 1 being in Ho Chi Minh City, partnering with local F&B groups, opening 3 to 5 flagships in districts 1 and 7, and also adapting the menu, so adding some banh mi inspired items in during that first year. Phase 2 will be in Hanoi, and that's establishing 5 to 7 outlets within central districts, and then also introducing Toast Box alongside bakery. The investment would be $2 to $3 million over 2 years, with that ROI being 15 to 20% by year 3. Priority market number 2 is Australia. The market dynamics are that they're mature, stable economy with a high per capita income. They also have a strong cafe culture, and they're the 3rd highest coffee consumption in the world. They also have a premium food market that's well established. Their cultural fit, there is a 25% Asian population in Sydney and Melbourne, which will be in phase 1. They also have an appreciation for Asian fusion cuisine and a health-conscious customer base. Their competitive advantage is that the Asian bakery segment is underdeveloped. There's premium positioning that aligns well with the market, and an innovation story also appeals to millennials. The entry strategy is 2 phases being over 3 years. Phase 1 in year 1 and 2, Sydney and Melbourne, operating company-operated flagships in the central business districts, positioning as a premium Asian artistry bakery, and focusing on health-conscious product lines. The pricing would be 20 to 30% higher than local customers or competitors. Phase 2 in year 3 would be secondary cities, so expanding to Brisbane, Perth, and Adelaide, franchising, and also developing catering services for corporations. The investment would be $4 to $5 million over 3 years, with that ROI being 18 to 22% by year 4. Arab Emirates and Saudi Arabia. The rationale for this in the marketing dynamics is that there's a high purchasing power. The UAE has a $43,000 per capita GDP, and also a large expat population, 88% in UAE. There's also rapid retail and hospitality growth. Cultural fit, there's significant Asian expat community. Halal certified products also align, and there's also mall culture and social dining established. established. Competitive advantage in the Middle East would be Bread Talk has existing presence, the premium position fits the affluent market, and there's also limited Asian bakery competition. The expansion strategy would be over 3 years, with phase 1 looking at UAE consolidation. So strengthening Dubai and Abu Dhabi presence, opening 8 to 10 new outlets in premium malls. All of the products would be halal certified, and partnering with local hospitality groups. Years 2 and 3 would include a Saudi Arabia entry, launching in Riyadh and Jeddah, franchising also, capitalizing on that Vision 2030 retail growth in the Middle East. The investment would be $3 to $4 million over 3 years, with that ROI being 20 to 25% by year 3. Now, addressing the challenge in China, the bakery division is underperforming in China with losses, despite having 26% of group revenue. The turnaround strategy includes localization and premiumization of the area. So tier 1 cities include Beijing, Shanghai, Guangzhou, and Shenzhen, and repositioning these as a premium lifestyle brand and closing underperforming outlets, focusing on quality over quantity will be important. Expanding the Wow Pao Chun brand, which is already successful, and also launching exclusive collaborations with Chinese chefs. Investing in delivery partnerships like Meituan and Elemi, and also developing WeChat mini programs for pre-ordering offerings. Tier 2 and 3 cities will lead with a franchise-driven expansion model, adapting product mix to regional tastes, smaller footprint, lower-cost locations, and also partnering with local KOLs for brand awareness and utilizing a competitive pricing strategy.
Bread Talk distinguishes itself from the average bakery through its core competencies, the first being innovation and creative design. They revolutionized the baking industry, taking a simple household staple, which is bread, and giving it personality, making it more visually appealing. The brand's launch included the pillowy floss bun, but the company's ability to create eye-catching, photo-ready items with creative names set them apart from traditional bakeries. This shows up in their product development with over 150 different items per store that are refreshed every 6 months and more than 50 brand new launches regularly. Additionally, they develop further through their mixed Asian Western-style baked goods and new interactive store experiences, one of them being the icing. Their second core competency is the scalable franchise model. Bread Talk has mastered international expansion by balancing standardization with local adaptation. In other words, they keep their brand's core identity while still adapting to local preferences. There are 863 global outlets, majority of them franchises, all across the world. There are 118 in Singapore, 338 in mainland China, 22 in Hong Kong, and 385 across Southeast Asia and the rest of the world. This low-risk model allows for rapid scaling while still maintaining the brand's consistency and their core values of what they want to be about. Their third core competency is brand equity and trust. Over 2 decades, Bread Talk has become a household name in Singapore and across Asia, being synonymous with the ideas of quality, innovation, and simply delightful experience. They're the only Singapore bakery to win Brand of the Year awards as a bakery, let alone win it multiple times. They're the market leader in Singapore retail bakery, the top of mind for innovative bakery, commonly associated with freshness and quality, and hold a strong loyalty program with a very digital savvy base. Having such a strong base and a heritage is hard for other competitors to replicate and reach such success. The final core competency is operational excellence. To tackle labor shortages and rising costs, Bread Talk invested heavily in the company. They invested $8 million alone in automation, which then reduced headcount by 50% in central kitchens, thus boosting output per worker. Additionally, the implementation of real-time digital systems for inventory and freshness alerts assisted in cutting waste by 20%. Finally, Bread Talk Academy and Management Associate Program offerings further strengthen the talent development pool internally. So altogether, these core competencies aren't just strengths, but they are distinctive capabilities that create a sustainable advantage in the bakery industry. Our strategic alignment matrix shows clear alignment with 2 key priorities: appealing to younger consumers, especially Gen Z, and entering new markets, demonstrating how to leverage such strengths. First, innovation fuels limited edition launches, fusion creations, and Instagram-ready experiences for young consumers, while still giving us the flexibility to adjust to local tastes in new regions and still stay true to our creative identity. The franchise model supports low capex, low-risk expansion into places such as Vietnam, Australia, and the Middle East. Brand equity allows heritage storytelling for value-driven Gen Z members and premium positioning with Asian authenticity abroad. Operational excellence ensures quality at scale through digital tools that truly resonate with young consumers and through efficient supply chains as well. Finally, taking everything into account, here are our 5 key strategic recommendations. The first is transform the brand for Gen Z. You can reframe it as Asian heritage meets modern cool with experiential retail, limited drops, and aggressive digital engagement. Second, prioritize Vietnam. Its young population, strong cultural fit for Asian-inspired baked goods, and lower competition make it ideal, especially with the franchise model being able to minimize risk. Third, fix China through premiumization. Close the underperforming stores and reposition as premium in Tier 1 cities. Then expand the higher-end Wu Pao Chun concept. Fourth, fully leverage the core competencies. Use innovation to differentiate, franchise to expand, brand equity for premium pricing, and operations for margin protection. Fifth, and finally, invest in digital infrastructure. You can enhance the app with gamification, social commerce, and community features, which will then resonate further with the youth, such as Gen Z, and further deepen loyalty, thus driving sales even further.